I was really impressed by this once. I got called by a school. They said everybody in our school has read the Colony Saga, which is a pretty violent series I wrote about. It's a zombie apocalypse series, and it did really well. And they're like, we'd like you to fly out and talk to our student body. And so I was like, of course, I'd love to. And you're paying for it. And that's spiffy keen. So I flew out and I'm excited. I've got this talk. I'm going to give it to the high schoolers. And I walk out and it's a bunch of 12-year-old kids. It was a junior high that one of the teachers had to teach sentence diagramming, which is the worst thing ever. And so to make it more fun, she started pulling sentences from this zombie book she had read. And the whole student body loved it. And if you had asked me before I walked off that plane to a bunch of grinning 12-year-olds with my zombie book, if you had said, hey, do you think this is going to work for kids? I would have said no. But obviously I was surprised and I was very happy. And after that, I said, well, why does this work? And it was pretty simple. It's action packed. It doesn't use big words. There's no explicit sex. Actually, even though it's a violent story that is bad stuff happens, I don't typically spend 10 pages describing the arterial gush. And so a teacher could take it, and even though it says horror, she hands it to the student and says, this is really fun. It's an adventure action zombie story. And that's the student's frame of reference going in, and the teacher can sell it like that. So whether you're pushing the boundaries is a question. You're either talking about pushing the boundaries of things we can talk about, in which case I think we can talk about anything, and we can talk about anything to anybody. You have to be careful about your effect on a little kid if you're going to talk about violence, but that's one of the first things we talk about with little kids. We're like stranger danger. We're sitting them down for a talk about some grown-up who could come along and kill them, which is a pretty hefty thing. But we use very careful vocabulary and terminology that we reveal more and more as they get older. So I think that's the big distinction. It's not the stories that we tell, it's the way we tell them that determines who we can talk to appropriately.